Hey guys, quick informational video here for you. Disassembly of a Mosin Nagant bolt. This one specifically is a Mosin 9130. All the bolts should be the same, regardless of which one you have. The M44, M39, they should all be the same. But let's get started without further ado. So the first thing you're going to want to do is depress the trigger all the way to the rear, which should allow you to remove the bolt from the rifle itself. So now that we got that out, just kind of slide this to the back here, and we can begin disassembling the bolt body in its own right. So the first thing we're going to do here is decock the bolt. So in order to do this, I'm going to kind of put it in bolt face in my hand, grab the handle, grab the cocking piece, and what we're going to do is kind of pull it apart and then twist it like so. So we're going to pull apart and twist. Now it's decocked and ready to be disassembled. So the first piece to come off is the bolt head, and in order to do that, what we're going to do is kind of pull it out slightly and then rotate it to the back, and it should slide right out. So I can set that over there. The next piece is the guide bar that runs along the side here, and that's pretty simple. That just slides straight off as well now that the bolt head is off. So I can set that in the back now. Now what we have is the cocking piece, the bolt body, and the firing pin. So the firing pin kind of is what holds everything together, so that's what's got to come apart next. I have a Mosin Nagant tool that comes with it when I bought it, so it kind of slides, this little last notch slides on the bolt, on the firing pin, and I'm able to undo that like so. Otherwise, you should be able to do it by hand, which I may end up doing, it seems like, because I'm having a little bit of difficulty with this. Keep in mind the firing pin is under pressure by a spring, which actually fires your rifle, but you're going to want to be careful so you don't launch your firing pin across the room. That shouldn't happen. So I'm just going to kind of finish it off by hand here. You can see it's getting close because this little notch here is coming out of the bolt body, and it's about to go. There you go. So now the firing pin is out of the bolt body. That slides straight out of there like that. Set that right there. And now, like I said, the firing pin is what holds everything together, so the body and the cocking piece come apart as well. Spring slides right off, and we're good to go. We have all 6 pieces taken apart. You don't really need to take apart the extractor. It doesn't really need to be done. Whatever cleaning you need to do, say removal of cosmoline, you don't really need to take that apart. You can spray everything down, do whatever you need to do, just the way it is now. I don't need to do anything at this point because I had already cleaned off the cosmoline and whatnot earlier. I did not get any footage of that, unfortunately, but I do have some pictures. I may make a video in the future to show those pictures and kind of what I did to get my Mosin to a fireable state. So since I'm done cleaning, and once you get your cleaning done, we can put everything back together. So first thing, basically opposite order, put the spring back on the firing pin as before. Now the firing pin goes back into the bolt body. The firing pin will only go into the bolt body itself in one direction, so you see I try to put it that way. It doesn't work, of course. This way does slide in. That's the way we need it to go. So like I said earlier, the firing pin is basically what holds everything together. So what we're going to need to do here is thread the back of the firing pin into the cocking piece. And in order to do this, we're going to need to depress this spring in here. So what we're going to have to do is get a block of wood or like a piece of rubber or something like that. You don't want to use like concrete or metal or anything like that, because you could damage your firing pin, which is a big problem. Kind of need that in order for your rifle to function properly. So I'm going to just kind of stick this down into the wood here and depress the spring enough so that I can get that in there. So I can depress the spring enough so that I can rotate the cocking piece back on, just kind of get it started, and then we have it like that. So now that that's started, we can retighten the firing pin righty-tighty clockwise, rotate it in, Now, we know that the firing pin is in all the way when it is flush with the back of the cocking piece right here. So you'll notice that it's pretty close there. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a groove in the back of the firing pin that you need to align with the grooves on the back of the cocking piece. So that should be pretty close right there. In order to check to make sure everything is properly seated in the end, we'll do that once we get everything put back together. So the next step is to put the guide bar back on. So the guide bar is pretty simple, just slides right on the side here. These little feet here come across the piece on the cocking piece, so that just slides right on. And now the last piece is our bolt head, and the bolt head has this groove that runs the full length of it, and that indexes on the little notch on the inside of the guide bar here. So we're just going to kind of slide that in like that, and then that notch needs to rotate in this groove over here, so we're going to rotate it counterclockwise. And as we do so, this notch on the cocking piece right here, on the bolt head right here, is going to kind of ride up and then fall back into that hole right there. So I'll show you again. Rides up and then back into that hole. So now we have everything put together. You will notice it is kind of like it won't stay necessarily on its own, so we kind of got to hold everything together. But it is at this stage that we check the firing pin protrusion. So in order to do this, I'm going to use my Mosin Nagant tool here. See if I can get it in focus. So we have our tool here, and this second notch right here is a no-go, which is 75/100ths, and the second one is a go gauge with 95/100ths if you don't have the tool, so you can do it on your own. So what we're going to do now is check the firing pin protrusion. So we're going to just kind of sit it on like so. And then the first notch, test that out if you can see that. It doesn't go, so we're good to go. If it does go, that means the firing pin is not sticking out far enough, and you might have light primer strikes causing rounds not to fire. So now that that one works, we're going to try the third notch, which is the go gauge. You can see that slides with ease. If that does not work on yours, then that means your firing pin is protruding too much. You can puncture your primers, which causes a whole slew of other problems. So since mine is good to go, we're ready to put it back in the rifle. Before we do so, we need to recock it. So in order to do that, put my hand on the back, grab the handle, cocking piece, and we're going to pull apart like before, rotate it back in the opposite direction. So pull apart and rotate. Now at this point, everything is kind of held together, nice package. You don't have to worry about things falling apart. So that's what that looks like. There's the other side. Should be good to go. So of course the last step, put it back in the rifle itself. So to do that, it's the same as before. You depress the trigger all the way to the rear, and the bolt should be able to slide right in the back. Release the trigger, we're good to go. Just to check it once, we're good. It retains the bolt, and as well, everything functions properly here. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you stay tuned for more.